Hello, I'm Jim Schroeder of the Schroeder Law Group. Today I want to talk to you a little bit about this new technology of Zoom and how to do it without getting yourself in trouble. I want to give you a couple quick tips about how to use the technology, and then some practical things that certainly you might think of or you might not. Coming to you today from my offices in Sardinia, Ohio, and been doing a lot of Zoom meetings over the last year, telecommuting, helping my clients in New Jersey, New York, Pennsylvania, the District of Columbia, and now Ohio. So let's step right into this. The first thing you need to do is you need to require a password for all meetings and securely share that password only with the people that you invite. Zoom gives you, and a lot of these platforms give you that ability. It's important to do that so that you don't have people in your meetings or just fishing into your meetings and finding their way in there. The second thing is don't share your meeting IDs. There's a unique individual meeting ID with Zoom that you should only use and share with your clients or those that you want in the meeting, if that's possible. Send links to the meetings directly to the individuals, and don't post those meeting links on Facebook or something like that. Don't use Google messages or anything that's insecure, anything that you wouldn't send your credit card information across. I'd encourage you not to send your Zoom information across. When you send these links, now I want to give a quick caveat to that. I'm a lawyer, so that's what I do. But I serve a lot of municipal government clients in Ohio and in New Jersey. There are certain Open Public Meeting Act requirements that would require for you to publish this. And certainly the old way of doing that we publish these are in the newspaper. I'd encourage you to use that in any way possible. Use the newspaper. Why? Because frankly, the Chinese don't read newspapers from rural Ohio and from different places in southern New Jersey. At least it's not as much as they would be able if you were to use your Facebook page or your municipal government website. Those things are being fished all the time. So this is a possibility where, as long as the courts will allow us to notify using low-tech means, I would encourage you to notify using low-tech means. Disable participant screen sharing or file sharing. Now, there might be things that you want to share as the host of the meeting, and that's a good thing. An agenda for the meeting, pictures, slides, anything you can do to be interactive and continue to be interactive. Please go ahead and do that. But don't allow other people to share slides or pictures or things in the meeting unless they go ahead and email them to you beforehand. Why? Because you might just find some anatomical pictures in the middle of your meeting that you didn't want to have there. It wasn't that funny in high school, and it's certainly less funny in a professional environment. So once you have everybody inside, lock the meeting. If you can go ahead and you see the ability to do that, lock the meeting so nobody else can come in. I use there's a waiting room feature. I always use that so I can go ahead and verify beforehand if the person coming in is the person that I invited. If I'm not real sure, sometimes I'll go ahead and text the person and I'll say, hey, are you on there? Is that you that tried to get in? Are you in the waiting room? To go ahead and make sure that. Avoid posting photos of your Zoom meetings. This could provide people that want information about you too much information. So screenshots, things like that. Leave that stuff off of social media as much as you can. Another one, disable the allow, remove participants to rejoin option. So sadly, here's what happens sometimes. Somebody goes ahead and gets into a meeting, or a member of the public gets into a meeting, and they do something that they shouldn't do. They begin to use language they shouldn't use. They do all kinds of crazy things. When I was younger, it was Baba Booey on the Howard Stern show would go ahead and call in and do phone pranks. Well, now they're doing that with video and Zoom and with their pictures. And, they'll go ahead and hold something up in the picture on their screen, and everybody sees that, and it assaults the sensibilities. So you can go ahead and knock them out of the meeting, click them out of the meeting, but they'll go ahead and they'll jump right back in if you're not using that waiting room app, or if you're not saying, hey, you're not going to let them back in the meeting. Now, again, you might not be able to do that if you are dealing with people who've got spotty internet, and sometimes they'll lose connection and need to get back in. And if you need to get them back in, do that judiciously. All right. Don't use your Facebook or Google account to sign into Zoom. Use an email. If you want to be super cautious, go ahead and create a new email just for using Zoom if you want to, and let the people that are inviting you or the people that you're inviting know that this is your new email, that you're using it just for Zoom. By going ahead and using Facebook and Google addresses and Google logins for Zoom, you're giving everybody too much information. The computers might get a little too familiar with you, and we want to make sure that we avoid that. Just like Facebook, just like phishing for your credit card, you might get emails coming forward that look like they're from Zoom, and be very cautious about that, giving out your information. It doesn't make much sense to go ahead and why Zoom would send you an email asking you for what your personal information is, or what your Zoom room meeting ID is, or what your password is. They should know that already, unless, of course, they are a Nigerian prince trying to masquerade as Zoom. So that's another key thing. Keep Zoom updated. So my grandfather used to say to me, he'd say, just when you think that you've built something idiot-proof, they build a better idiot. Well, just when you think that you've built a platform in Zoom or in Google or in any of the software things that we use, just when you think you build something that's bulletproof and that can't be hacked, they hack it. And then you got to fix it. And usually that's in an update or a patch. So keep your patches up to date, and hopefully that way things will work better for you. All right, a couple other things just real quick here. Mute yourself until it's time to talk. All right, might be things going on in the background, might be kids running around upstairs, it might be a truck going by, it might be you're outside, which is a great thing. If you can go ahead and find a quiet place outside, but the wind comes up, and that wind, while you don't realize it, is blowing like a freight train through the meeting, and everybody else is hearing it. So mute yourself until you need to speak. And sometimes as the moderator of a meeting, you need to do that. If you're hearing all kinds of feedback, mute everybody, and then go ahead and use a hand raise system or a chat system if somebody needs to speak, or you can call on them. Come up with some way to do that, and that'll kill all that background noise, which honestly just makes it intolerable sometimes to be in these meetings. Try and keep distractions to a minimum. If you got to work, or if you got things going on at your house in the background and that kind of things, there's an option in Zoom and some of these WebEx or the other ones that you can go ahead and you can use a picture. I wouldn't necessarily use a vacation picture or something. I use a logo for my law firm. And if I'm in a place where there's distractions going on, or I think the kids are going to be coming in or something like that, I just pop up my logo. They know who it is. They know who's in the room. And obviously you don't need to see my lovely face through the middle of the whole meeting necessarily. All right? Wear pants. Please wear pants. We move on. Last one. Post a note on the door and let your family know that you're in the middle of a Zoom meeting. I'm very thankful that nobody burst their way into the office this morning while I was doing this, at least not yet. But post a note, let your family know so that it doesn't become a distraction and they don't become frustrated because they just walked in and they didn't have pants on. And that's going to show up somewhere in the blooper reel somewhere for your kids, maybe on their wedding day or at some point the next time they really aggravate you. But you really don't want to go ahead and have your kids in your pajamas in the background. So give them fair warning, just like you'd hope they'd give you. I'm Jim Schroeder. Thanks for being with me today, and I hope that helps you as you zoom through your work over the next couple months.